This is one of my favorite times of the year because it is time to set our goals and intentions for the new year. If you're new here, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization, and today we're going to talk about how I'm setting goals for the first quarter of the year, exactly how I go about that, as well as getting into the nitty-gritty of my personal goals. Hopefully this helps you to set your own goals for the first quarter of the year, as well as if you're interested in my goals and following along, I will be updating every quarter of the year and giving you all of my wins. If there are some losses, some goals that I fall behind on, I'm going to be brutally honest. I have been doing monthly updates over the past year, but this time I kind of want to take a step back and do a little bit of a broader update. Today is going to be just the goal planning, but as we go on throughout the year, I'm going to be sharing more with the quarterly updates, things that have happened in the past quarter, maybe unexpected things. If there are favorites that I want to share with you, I am going to be sharing some of my favorite cleaning products that I've used over the past quarter. All of that will stay the same if you are somebody who loves my monthly updates and have been watching those for the past year. The first step when planning your goals for the first quarter of the year, you could even back it up a little bit further and make an annual goal. I have trouble with annual goals, just keeping track of them. So I'm going to keep it at a quarterly level, but if you want to have an annual goal, go for it. And then you're going to want to trickle things down. So even at a quarterly level, and quarter is going to be January, February, March. It's going to take us through the first 3 months of the year. I am still going to keep in mind with each of those goals that I have, how am I going to achieve this quarterly goal on a monthly basis? What can I do every month to get me a little bit closer? What can I do every week to get me a little bit closer? Are there daily action items that I can do to get me there? That's going to be my strategy, is to think at that level, moving things down as far and as granular as I can that makes sense for each specific goal. Another great way to plan out your goals, if you've heard of SMART goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Those goals are often used in the workplace. Maybe you've seen them in school when you're goal setting in any more of a formal setting. SMART goals are great. I like thinking of the concept of SMART goals when I'm planning certain things, but others, it just doesn't necessarily make sense to me, or I don't always like tying something necessarily measurable to each thing, because sometimes I might set a goal that's more of a feeling, and somebody who's way into SMART goals would say that that's not a great goal to set. You need to have something that has a measurement to it, not just like, I want to feel happier in the first quarter of the year. Because the SMART goals help you to drill in deeper. What makes you feel happy? What can you actually do to feel happier? And how are you going to know that you've achieved that? How are you going to know that you've reached that happiness or that level of happiness that you wanted to reach, that was your actual goal? So you can still think through those things without going through each and every step of the SMART goal. Or if that resonates for you, go for it and make each goal a SMART goal. The last thing I'm going to really think through as I'm setting these goals is the reason behind the goal. And I think that's going to help me with that broader picture and bringing it in and becoming as focused as possible. So we're going to talk a little bit later about personal goals, and I am going to have a goal. If you've watched my monthly reset videos, I've talked a lot about my exercising and how many days a week I want to exercise. Instead of just saying, I want to implement whatever workout regimen in this next quarter, I want to go back with that why. What is the broader picture that I'm trying to achieve with this? What is that actual goal? Why am I working out? Am I working out because I need to take mental health breaks for myself and it helps me with my productivity to take a moment away and to exercise? Or am I trying to lose weight? Am I trying to set a good intention for my children? Whatever the case might be, thinking back and what the why is will help you to then set those smaller parts of the goal to actually achieve it or to get yourself a step closer to it. Once we understand all of those things, how we're going to set the goals, what types of goals we're going to set, the next thing that you can do is think about the quarter that you have ahead. What do the next 3 months look like for you? And I always do this with my monthly resets. I go through my calendar and I try and make those goals with the vision of what's going on over the next month, or in this case, over the next 3 months. Do you have a lot of travel coming up? Do you have a change in career coming up? Sometimes you can't predict everything, so you're gonna want your goals to be a little bit flexible, and sometimes we just don't achieve them, and that's okay, especially when there's unexpected circumstances. But doing the best you can to have a vision of what's going on over the next 3 months, to be as realistic as possible when setting these goals, is going to set you up for more success than if you just set these goals without thinking that through. For me personally, because I want to switch gears here to setting my own goals, over the next 3 months, January, February, March, I am going to be on maternity leave for all 3 of those months. So the lens that I'm looking at everything with is I am going to have a very, very newborn baby, like days old probably, when we start the new year, or maybe we'll be having a baby at the very beginning of the new year. Regardless, I'll most likely be on maternity leave all of January, February, March. And I do not want to be setting crazy goals for myself because I need to be focused on my baby, and the newborn stage is extremely difficult, and I don't have a lot of free time to be doing other stuff. So that is my lens that I'm looking at the first quarter of the year with. And with that, I think we should jump into my actual goals. We'll start with personal goals and then go on to some of my business goals. With my personal goals, I was thinking about it and brainstorming over the past few weeks, and there's a little bit of a theme. I want to have more confidence. The first part of that confidence, and this is the why, this is the broader picture. I want confidence. And what trickles down from confidence? I, especially because I'm gonna have a newborn baby, wanna focus on that confidence being a second-time mom. With my first baby, there was a lot of fear of leaving the house. I was just so stressed with the cycle of feeding and naps and wake windows and tummy time and fitting it all in that it felt very stressful for me to leave the house. So I want to gain the confidence earlier than I did last time to be able to leave the house and go out and feel like it's a positive thing to leave the house, because that does nobody any good if you're trapped inside all day and on maternity leave alone and with a newborn baby. Can just be a little bit overwhelming. So I want to early on start to take small trips out of the house and really enjoy those trips, find fun things to do with baby and myself. And then times when my husband and my other son are around, we can do family outings and just not worry as much about all of those little things, specifically naps. Last time I felt like I had to have perfect naps in his crib or in his bassinet and be really productive too during those naps. So I had a fear of him napping too much in the car seat or on the go, because then we would miss a nap at home. I really want to be able to let that go. So like I said, confidence in myself and my parenting abilities as a mother and a second-time mother. And then the other portion of that is going to be, I would love if in the first 3 months I can start to feel confident on my own taking both kids out of the house, because I know that is a real thing when you have 2 kids, that it takes a while to be able to handle both children. So taking both kids out on my own and then being able to watch both kids on my own, because when I think about that, I'm stressed if I'm at the house alone trying to feed the baby and then manage a toddler. It's just, I can't even imagine it right now and how that would go, or put a baby down to sleep when I still have my toddler there. I would love to be able to accomplish feeling confident in those things in the first 3 months. The second portion of confidence I was thinking about, this relates to what I mentioned earlier with working out. I was thinking, why do I want to exercise? Because I wanted to set some sort of a goal about my body, whether it's exercise or diet. And I think I just want to feel confident, especially after going through pregnancy, and I'm going to be newly postpartum. I don't think I'm going to gain 100% confidence 3 months postpartum, but I would love to work towards that and have my exercise and nutrition be in an effort to make me feel more confident in my postpartum body. So for exercising, I really can't do much for the first 6 weeks Typically, you have to wait 6 weeks postpartum before you really pick up the intensity and exercise. There's some breathing and things like that you can do, and like stretching the first 6 weeks, but that's really not going to be my focus. So working out might pick up a little bit at the end, and I would like to start to come up with a plan and strategy for my workout schedule in the first quarter. So that's a goal, to come up with a workout schedule and a workout routine. But I'm not going to say how many times a week I want to work out or what schedule I'm doing or anything like that at this point. That is something I'm going to figure out during the first quarter. And then in terms of my diet, I want to get back on track. That's very loose. I have a few more specifics around it. Being pregnant, sometimes I feel like I give into cravings a little bit more. I also, last time when I gave birth, felt like I was quite hungry when I was breastfeeding. So if I'm able to breastfeed again, that's gonna be a factor that there's just a lot more hunger. But something that's always worked for me, if I just wanna feel a little bit healthier and I don't wanna go too strict on a diet, is keeping my meals to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 2 snacks. So having breakfast, a snack, then lunch, a snack, then dinner. That keeps me kind of regulated a little bit, because being at home all day, I work from home, and then if I'm on maternity leave, it's really easy to just eat the entire day long, and I truly don't need to be doing that. So keeping it to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 2 snacks. And then just generally, I would also like to make healthier choices. I'm gonna leave it that loose because I don't want to implement a crazy diet for myself without knowing what I'm going to experience postpartum. Another goal that I'm going to have is to be more mindful of my spending. This is where I'm saying SMART goals are sometimes not my favorite, because I don't want to put a dollar amount on how much I want to spend a week or a month, or spend on groceries, or spend on any of that. I'm not going to be doing that right now, but I want to be mindful of it. I'm going to be tracking it over the first quarter of the year. This might surprise you, but I want to let go of the purse strings in certain areas. Like if I want to get out of the house and encourage myself to have that confidence with baby to go out and about, I want to feel comfortable going to get a coffee, because currently when I do that, I feel so guilty. If I get a coffee, it's just, I don't know, something in me. And coffee is very expensive these days. Who needs to be spending like $6 or something on a coffee? But every now and then, it's a little bit of a treat and a reason to get myself out of the house, which I may need in the winter months with a newborn. I'm gonna let myself do that. But other areas like online spending, I have a weak spot for kids stuff. I don't buy a lot of stuff for myself, but I am obsessed with buying clothing for the kids and getting gear and toys and all of that stuff for them. I want them, like most parents, to have the very best, but I would like to rein that in to almost 0 for the first quarter of the year. We should have all of the baby gear we need. Both kids have all of the clothing they need to get them through the first quarter of the year. So that I want to almost be 0, is that kind of frivolous, unnecessary spending. I don't have anything else I'm thinking of right now that I need. So if I don't think of anything right now that I need, then I probably don't need it for the next 3 months. On that same vein of I don't want to be spending a bunch of money and bringing a bunch of stuff into the house, the last personal goal I have is simplifying our space, which is basically decluttering. And that is going to tie into one of my main business goals for the first quarter of the year, because we have the 6-month sophisticated declutter coming up, where we declutter our entire homes in the first 6 months of the year. So that's going to be the first 2 quarters. And I want that to be a business focus, because of course I'm running it and want everyone to be as involved as possible, give the best resources. But also I do it along with you, and I love the feeling of doing it every year, and love the feeling of taking it extremely seriously, going through each space and ruthlessly decluttering. So every time I leave a room, once we finish, let's say decluttering the bedroom or decluttering the kitchen, I can leave that space and say, I only have things in here that I need, use, love, etc. And there are no unnecessary items in here that are just weighing me down, or things that I don't even know that I have. That is the best feeling ever, being able to leave a space like that. So I hope you join me in the sophisticated declutter and set that as a personal goal for yourself as well, which is the perfect transition to my business goals. With the sophisticated declutter, as I said, that is going to be a main business goal. It's going to be a main focus of mine. I am going to be publishing small little YouTube videos that describe what's going on within each category. So I want to get on top of those, film those ahead of time, and be adding that bonus content. So I will still have my regular videos that I have every Wednesday and Saturday on this channel, as well as my sophisticated motherhoods that I have on Mondays, and then adding in these behind the scenes bonus content, what you can expect, tips and tricks for decluttering that specific area, as well as sending out a newsletter that goes with each individual area or space of our home, just because I want you to feel like you have the knowledge. A lot of times people are wondering, how do I follow along? It can be really confusing when there are some people that are on YouTube and other people are on Instagram, and there's just people all over the place, and I want everyone to be included. So bundling it all together with this newsletter is going to be a goal of mine. Getting those videos out, which I will package in the newsletter with other product recommendations for organizing that space, and really theme everything together as best I can. So with that, I want to be reorganizing my website a little bit, as well as my Instagram, and have really simple spots for you to go if you are going to declutter your laundry room and you want to know exactly what to do and how to organize it and all of the resources for your laundry room. I want there to be a nice, neat package of where to go to do that. There's only 2 goals that I have for my business, and that sounds so incredibly broad, but I have more specifics that I've thought of through it. I have my phone here, I've typed out some notes, and I've broken it into my sophisticated organization as well as sophisticated motherhood. With both of those, I would love to grow on YouTube, grow my subscriber base on both, as well as grow my Instagram followers on both of them. I have set goals for the actual number of followers and subscribers that I would like to have on both of them, as well as some monetary goals. I would love to grow and continue to make more money with my small business. Because this is a small business of mine, I've also thought through, how am I going to grow? I can't just say I want to gain X number of subscribers or X number of followers on Instagram and grow, and that's it, and leave it there and be like, that's my goal and I'm just gonna cross my fingers. No, I have to come up with a plan to make this happen. My big plan for sophisticated organization is the sophisticated declutter. That generates a lot of excitement because it is exciting, and I'm going to be pumping all of this content out. But for both of them in general, my strategy is going to be continuing to post on Instagram stories, and just get more behind the scenes, more relatable content, because I'm always doing things around the house that are organizing and productivity and cleaning and cooking and things that you all love to see. I just need to make sure I'm doing a good job sharing it. The other specific and measurable goal that I'm gonna have is posting 3 times a week on both Instagrams. Sometimes I do crossover posts and I'll have that count as a post for both, and it's less work for me. But with that, I would love to take advantage of the short form content that I'm creating, if I'm creating Instagram Reels, to also bring it over to YouTube and do some YouTube Shorts. I tried YouTube Shorts for just a little bit and never really stuck with it, so I am going to start crossing over some of the videos that I create and posting it on YouTube as well as a YouTube Short. And then with this, I don't think it's going to be as much of a goal that's an active goal throughout the first quarter, but at the end or near the end of the first quarter, I really want to do some deep dives into my analytics and figure out what's working. Am I posting at the correct times per day? And if you're not somebody who's on social media or does this, there's a lot behind it, using keywords and all of that stuff, but I want to figure out if I'm doing the right thing. Do my thumbnails look the right way on YouTube? Specifically for sophisticated motherhood, my content is a little bit all over the place, it feels like, and I want to figure out what my audience is resonating with for both sophisticated organization and sophisticated motherhood, and I want to give you more of what you want. There are so many things that I'm passionate about, and I feel as if I could go a million directions, but I want to be very focused on something that I enjoy and you enjoy, and then that will really help me to achieve my goal of growth, because I know it comes through when I love what I'm doing and love what I'm sharing, and you're also enjoying it. That's the whole deal here, and that's why I love doing this, and hopefully why you like watching my channel and following along with my story. So that's it for my personal goals, my business goals, and just in general how I'm planning on setting goals. And hopefully this gave you a few ideas. Cannot wait to check in at the end of the first quarter and give you all of the details of what happened. I'll probably give some more specific numbers at that update and be around the house a little bit more, showing you some fun products and favorites and other things that have happened over the next 3 months. Of course, I will be posting tons of content between now and then, so it's not like I'm disappearing, but there will be a nice little summary at the end of March that I can share with you. So I just want to say happy almost New Year, happy goal setting and planning. I hope you take the time to do this, set great goals, and we will all check in at the end of the first quarter.